guys, welcome to Cosmic Birthing. I'm Fernanda Castro and I created this YouTube channel to share with you channeled intuitive information and energetic transmissions that I have been receiving from my own multidimensional guides or high streams of consciousness, whichever label suits your belief system. And they have really helped me. They have shared a lot of teachings and guidance that's been very inspiring and very useful for myself. And so I'm here now to share these messages with you with the intention to inspire you, to reassure you that everything will be fine, and to encourage you to become more of yourself, to remember that you are a beautiful being and that you can manifest the reality that you want. So in our first transmission series titled Soul Emergence, I'll be really sharing teachings from one specific collective called the Group of Eight. And they gave me a message for the title. They wanted to be called Soul Emergence because the teachings, the messages that they share with me are all about us trusting ourselves and allowing our soul to emerge, for us to remember all the knowledge and the wisdom that we have within ourselves and embracing our uniqueness. Now, all the messages for Soul Emergence transmissions will be mainly from a collective consciousness group that I refer to the Group of Eight. And as you may be aware, non-physical beings or higher dimensional streams of consciousness that don't really need names, but we like to have names so that we can put them into boxes and refer to them more easily. And when I asked for a name, they gave me two ideas, really two concepts. One was the wise ones, and then the feeling that I got really was of the elders of ancient wisdom, and the Group of Eight. And regarding the Group of Eight, what they said is that they are a group of a collective of 8 streams of consciousness, and that can also be multiples of 8, and that the actual 8 is important for these transmissions because their core message is related to the numerological energy of the number 8, which you can visualize as the infinity symbol. So it's all to do with balancing, integration, finding a center, and being able to manifest a prosperous outside reality. So that's how they show themselves to me. And the way I perceive them is all these streams of energy that have different flavors, different expertise maybe, and then they create this cosmic soup of information, let's say, and that gets downloaded, and then I will verbally express it and share the message. I've been channeling for myself for many years now, and this message actually that I'll be sharing with you today was actually a personal channeling for myself regarding the current energies and how to navigate and what's going on the planet itself and how to stay optimistic despite everything else. So, but then I got prompted to actually create this channel and share that with the public. So this is what I'm doing, and I hope this resonates with you. And if it does, please click the like so that I know that the message is being useful, it's getting to you. If you have any suggestions, any comments, any questions that you'd like me to ask the guides, the Group of Eight, please write down on the comments. And of course, if you want future messages, and I'll be doing them more often now, please click subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll be sharing that a lot more with you very soon. And of course, we're all unique. We all like different types of information delivered in different ways. And so if you don't resonate with any of this information, that is fine. It just means that this information wasn't for you, that's all. And you should honor your own discernment and what feels right to you. I'm not here trying to impose my belief system or my messages onto you. Channeling that I'll be sharing with you today, it was actually a personal channeling. It's quite a long one actually, where I was just asking the guides for some guidance of how to navigate these energies, what's happening on the planet at the moment, and the energetic field for humanity, really, for October in particular. And so I hope you enjoy it. It's very inspiring. It's very didactic. They're very helpful in trying to teach us and give advice the best way to center and to go through the day and be joyful along the way. One thing that's a bit weird about the channeling from the group of 8, which I don't have with any other energies, is that sometimes when I'm channeling them, I just start yawning non-stop, and as soon as I stop the channeling, the yawning stops. So if you do hear me yawning in this audio, please excuse me. It's not that I'm knackered, it's just that the message is coming through, and sometimes I think they just need me to get more air, more oxygen into my brain to help the balancing of the energies. Okay, so I'll see you all another day. It is with great pleasure and honor that we step forward once again. We are delighted that so many of you have been communing, coming together with the intention of helping your planet. And we mean your physical planet as Gaia, not necessarily humanity. And we make this distinction not that we're implying that you do not care about humanity. Of course you do, but instinctively you are feeling the need to support your planet. Your planet is going through tremendous pressures, trying to sustain a high frequency that has entered the grids, and also manage the old, heavier energy within itself. And so it takes some time to readjust and manipulate and rearrange these energies so that there is a balance. And it is only when your planet is in balance that you all can prosper together, as you are an extension of Gaia, but the effects are first felt within your planet, and that consequently then affects you as well through your different forces, your electromagnetic, your gravity, your magnetism, so all different quantum forces that you do not see with your physical eyes, but that has a huge impact on your well-being, because as you know, you have evolved on the surface of your planet, and therefore every single cell, every single organ and system within you is balanced with that as a reference point. So very slight changes in the orientation or the strength of these forces, polarity, gravity, magnetism, has a huge impact on the way that your cells function, which consequently affects other organs like endocrine system, obviously your circulatory system and everything. And then you start getting symptoms or signs, let's say, that things are different. So we do not want to alarm you, but when we use the word symptoms, you associate that with disease. And to a certain extent, yes, there is a disease, there is an imbalance in the system, but it's not a physical imbalance as you would when you have a bona fide disease already expressed in the physicality. So this is more a sign that there is a misalignment rather than proper qualified disease. Of course, that does not rule out people that actually have physical, concrete problems. But do listen to your bodies pay attention to these small signs and what it is requesting you to do. Is it to sleep more? Is it to sleep less? Is it to eat certain things? Is it to ground more? Is it to swim and be in nature and be in water? These are loud signs and requests from your body. It's just that you have learned to ignore it. And the more you ignore it, the more it persists. Your planet is doing the same. It also has signs that indicates that it's not quite balanced. And the difference is your planet has the wisdom to listen to it and try to involve and gather all beings that are birthed from her to try to balance these energies by moving things around. And other forms of sentient beings, let's say, are a bit more willing to help unconditionally, instinctively than humanity. And so this shifting is happening. And it is what it's meant to be. There are no mistakes. Do gather your energies for a few bumpy months ahead. Eventually you will adapt and feel more familiar and at home with change, with chaotic change. It needs not be chaotic, we would say that, but at the beginning, any abrupt change, drastic change in the forms that you will most likely experience tends to be chaotic because it's filled with fear. But as you go through it more and more often, then there is a level of surrendering. And you can feel that already. That when you compare your energies now from March, when there was a first shock to the system, you can already notice the sense of, oh, here we go again, or, oh, we cannot, what is the new normal? Things keep changing on a daily basis. So you are becoming a bit more accustomed to these changes. And that is a very beneficial thing, because even when you pass this period of chaotic transition, to the level that you're going, change it's constant. It's the only constant. Although this has always been the case, this law of the only constant in the universe is change, this paradox has always been valid and true, but you manage to cover it up with your focus on habits and patterns and repetition, so that you had the feeling of normalcy or constant. Very small changes happening, which were perceived as no change, really. So the more you go through this phase, the more you surrender. And there is a beauty in surrendering. This feeling of opening your heart, opening your mind, and really putting your guards down, opening yourself up like a flower, and allowing all there is, the sun, the cosmos, to bathe you, to support you. Even if there are strong winds around, even if there are harsh conditions, you are still supported. Life is all around you. You are created of life particles, let's say, of life force, of God particles, of love. And so this support is always there. And you are cracking these layers, this clay, or even porcelain, it's a bit more fragile than clay, it's cracking up, it's breaking up. And this allows you to open up, to get in touch with your God self. And surrendering requires a level of trust, faith, and courage. At times, once your mind has gone through all the patterns of behavior that's known based on your past experience, when it's confronted with something completely new that has never encountered before, it gets to a point that you sometimes equates to despair. But it's not really. It is more the state of mind of, okay, you win. I do not know what to do next. I have not been confronted with this set of scenarios, and therefore I do not have a suggestion of what you should do or shouldn't do. The level of fear may be high at this point because you fear for your survival, because you realize your mind has no advice and you have spent your whole life with this loud critic and helper in your mind, constantly telling you what you should or what you shouldn't do, or what you have done wrong, or how you could have done better. And when that little voice or loud voice comes up with, there is no answer, there is no one here, no suggestion, you then have to trust another aspect of yourself, the true self, which is your inner knowing, which is not based on what happened in this life in the past. It's based on your universal wisdom. And that comes not only from this version of you, this is connected, it's tapped into this collective cloud, as we would say, like an iCloud, of universal wisdom with all the experiences of all beings. Everything that you have gone through in this life has been poured into this universal cloud system, morphic field. And so when you resign that there is nothing else that you can hang on to and cling on to in this physical world, including your ego persona and their suggestions, because there are many aspects of it, you then start going inward and going quiet to try to listen. And when we say listen, we mean to try to attune your frequencies to those frequencies so that you can tune in and resonate with this morphic field, which has this tremendous wisdom and reassurance that whatever you are going through in this life has already happened in a level of consciousness, but we won't get into timelines and things like that, but that knowledge is already there in this cloud. Many other beings have been in situations similar to yours, being it in this planet or other planets. And so all this knowledge of what would be most beneficial, what would be most detrimental, it is constantly available to you. The problem is getting humanity to let go of the external games and the habit of distracting yourselves with these constant patterns and voices from others, and actually to quieten the mind and go inside. And like anything else, if you haven't done it before, it may take a while for you to attune, for you to recognize the frequency, for you to be able to set a ritual for yourself, whatever it may be. It doesn't need to be an elaborate ritual, but something that you do that signals to yourself that you are setting the intention to connect to this universal library of information, also related to what many would refer to Akashic records, but it's bigger than that now. And so our suggestions from the group of 8, which is based on the essence of balance, of integration, of existence, of paradox, the truism, the realness of the existence of polar opposites at one given moment. And that in this reality, the existence of polar opposites is necessary for you to have a balanced system. It does not need to be as extreme as it is at the moment, but you cannot have a very passive side. If the other one is very active, it becomes very imbalanced. So slowly, both sides get a lot more subtle and refined. And so there is more balance within this infinity symbol from the polarities. You would perceive it as the infinity symbol size maybe getting smaller, so the distance between the polar opposites to the center is actually smaller. And this is constant in life because it's constantly changing from one polarity to another, but always in the flow, in the dance. And the more you aim to be in the center of the polarity, but without resistance, knowing that you will experience both sides, that's part of the dance, maybe less and less frequent, the change, and less drastic and chaotic, but there is still this flow from one opposite to the other. The sooner you allow yourself, that you surrender to this dance, the easier it gets for you to allow yourself to have a bad day, allow yourself to be angry, allow yourself to express one of the polarities, knowing that the sooner you do it, the sooner it will flow through your system and take you to the other side of peace, of grace, of joy. But really, the aim game here is to be in the center, in that nexus, the point, that crucial point where nothing happens, where there is nothingness, the void, the silence, where all exists, all versions of polarity exist and are connected, the birth of all and the death of all, where everything gets transformed. A beautiful state of mind, because it's not a location, is past location, past your 3D space and time framework. It is a state of being, of beingness, no association with physicality, with identity, with emotions, with desires, with sorrow, with disappointments, with nothing. No concepts, simply being and existing. Very few people, masters really, on your planet have reached this nexus point of total. We would not say bliss, because bliss in itself is associated with certain feelings. We would say with nothingness, with no thingness. We do not expect you to jump from one stage to the other. But just the idea of the existence of this state already expands your vision and your acceptance for the existence of this reality. And slowly, slowly, you move forward, aligning with this possibility, this frequency. And it guides you towards it. But in this process, there are many ups and downs. Do not be self-critical of yourselves. It is natural. It's a process. And you are unique. The way you deal with your process, only you can do it. No one else. And therefore, no one else knows any better. Do not listen to anyone else. Don't even listen to yourself. Because chances are the voice that you're listening to is from your ego. And your ego really wants to keep everything the same, even when that's not possible. And therefore will try to keep dragging you back to something that has happened that no longer exists and definitely is no longer a possibility for your planet. As you are entering, you have already entered a area of your universal grid, of your system that is exposed to different energies. It's a different cycle. And so the new, it's here. The new dawn is here, as some say. And you should be, if you wish, would not like to impose, is your choice. But be hopeful, be grateful, and really be happy that you managed to get to this point. You could have blown up your planet ages ago, many, many times, came close to it. So you have changed, you have grown. And you should hold on to that, knowing that you are constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly changing. And if you remember maybe your teenage years, if you had the chaotic teenage years, the easier it is, the sooner you surrender to the flow of things and understand that this is a phase, that this is not who you are, that you can go through it, that everybody goes through it, and things will become less dramatic with such swings, moods and ideas and perspectives. The sooner you do that, the sooner you accustomize yourself to it, accustom yourself to it. And when you look again, you're already an adult and things feel more stable, more comfortable. The same here. Or your humanity is, through the teenage years, is very angry with the parents, and so it should, to be honest. And so it is rebelling, and it's saying no more. I want to choose where we go next, our direction. We want something different. And this is what's happening on a global level on your planet. And so this phase shall also pass. Not in the next few years, but it shall pass. But you play an important role here in this transition, in the time of great rebellion. Your energy is important. A few of you will be rebellious, to be activists, to speak out, to refuse to conform to the norm. Others will be to be calm and loving and help to balance the energy, whilst others are more courageous. Others are creating the new, are having new ideas. Others are trying to nurture the young. You all have a role. Whatever it may be, it is equally important and unique to you, to your gifts, your experiences. So you should be grateful for this experience and the gift of being able to share it with others, of being of service to yourself and to others, and to the planet, and to the many other sentient beings that you are not currently aware of, that are surrounding you and also benefiting from everything that's happening on this planet, as they all have invested interests on what happens here. But we will not dwell on this area of the conversation today. We have expressed what we wish to express for today in this windy autumnal morning. Go with the winds of change. Allow yourself to go through potentially the dark nights of the winter. But bear in mind that even when you go to one of the extremes, be sure that it is universal law. You'll be taken to the other side as well. So allow yourself to go through this as smoothly, painlessly, and gracefully as you can. You are always supported. The love of the Creator is within you. You are made of it. You are it. So connect to that and surrender yourself to the knowingness that you are loved, that you are more than this flesh bone vessel that you wear at the moment. In the worst case scenario, you simply transform and be reborn into another reality. And so there is no need to fear your survival, because you are not this physical expression that you perceive yourself to be and identify yourself with great love and admiration and honoring, really, for all your efforts, your love, and your pure, sheer courage. Because being on earth during these times It is not an easy process. We are all very aware of that and empathize as a parent would when a child is having a hard time at school. You do your best to support them, but you know that this is part of them growing up and being able to explore other aspects of their personality, and they need to do it themselves so that they have that strength within them, that wisdom. And so the others that have gone through it are here to watch and to support you. But only you can make this transition. So focus and trust on yourselves and know that all will be well. All is well. I hope you enjoyed the message and the energetic transmission that came with the message. And as I said before, if you enjoyed this message and if you would like to hear more from the Group of 8, please click like and subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you soon.